Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and Nerding series on the MiSTer FPGA D10 Nano project, and in this instance, more specifically, Wickerwalka's alpha for the Taito F2 arcade board core. It is out, it plays a few games, it definitely isn't ready for prime time yet. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, the development process and what this is going to bring to the table. But honestly, now MiSTer FPGA runs Dino Rex, which means that MiSTer FPGA got 2 times better and 2 times worse all at the same time. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But honestly, there are a metric crap ton of amazing games on the Taito F2 arcade board, and there's also Dino Rex. Not sure what happened the week that Taito decided to develop this game. It has a lot of good ideas and it has a ton of charm, but it is maybe the most janky fighting game you could possibly imagine. And honestly, fighting as a gigantic dinosaur in an arena should have been a fun time, but there's something about this game that is charmingly ineffective, amazingly fun, and amazingly terrible all at the same time. It looks kind of like Godzilla Man in suit just running around, but it's one of those games you have to play it to understand exactly what's going on, and your dinosaurs can't even actually turn. You'll see there, if you get beyond your opponent, you have to turn back around. It takes control away from you. But slamming a dinosaur into a coliseum and seeing a bunch of people get crushed to death underneath that dinosaur, that is arcade gold. Now, as far as the core is concerned, I know you're going to ask, so I'll tell you early in the video, no, it is not on update all yet. This is manual install only via the MiSTer FPGA Discord server, and at this point in time, unless you want to play around with it and kind of get an idea of how cores develop, I don't know that I would go in and actually check this one out. Dino Rex is playable, it does have some graphical glitches. There's a few other games that will work for a while, but the large majority of the actual library on the Taito F2 currently is not going to run on the core. Let's move over to a game definitely worth playing because it is fun, Liquid Kids. This one will work for a while, but it starts to get graphical glitches in later stages. And the reason for this is the core just isn't complete in any way at this point in time. There's still chips to be enabled, and just because it's called the Taito F2 board doesn't mean that it doesn't have different chips per games. I'm always trying to remind people that an arcade board is completely different than a home console. A PlayStation 1 is a PlayStation 1 no matter what revision you buy. A Taito F2 between games could have completely different hardware on board depending on what the developers needed that week when they were making a game, and that's just kind of part and parcel common for the arcade sphere versus home consoles, where you have an entire library of games that run on one board, but each board may have a new chip or a different chip inserted to get some new graphical effects, scaling, rotation, or otherwise. So that's why some games are going to work relatively well, other games aren't going to work whatsoever. But I would say for an incomplete core, the sound on Liquid Kids is great. Go ahead and listen for 35 seconds, I'll be right back with more. I mean, it sounds good, but if you didn't notice, the playable character sprite went off the right hand side of the screen and is now completely invisible, so you can play Liquid Kids through maybe the first stage. You may encounter some errors, definitely not something you're going to see the credits scroll on yet. Now moving over to another one of the best games on the Taito F2, this is Growl, and it's basically an unofficial Indiana Jones beat 'em up, and you can't change my mind. And while it does boot, you're going to get one of the most interesting and confusing errors as far as this thing actually crashing is concerned, because it's going to run and then all of a sudden you're going to see tilt come up. Now, I know what you're thinking, tilt is for pinball machines. It has a mercury switch, and if you tilt it too much, it's going to drop your ball, but it does exist on the JAMA Edge as well. So for some reason or another, Taito programmed an error into there and had it actually show up as tilt. I have absolutely no idea why, but it is a fun little realization, and obviously as you see some of the sprites here, this isn't something that is ready for prime time yet, but this is actually my favorite part of the core development process and talking about these cores. I love seeing things that are just barely running and understanding what's going wrong here. Clearly something in the sprite layer and some of the transformations just is not coded in yet. If we move over to Puli Rula, an absolutely amazing beat 'em up that is completely weird. Everything goes even more sideways. The colors are completely incorrect. It's like it's missing one of the 3 colors, and obviously those sprites right there are not what the original game would look like. But it is fun to see, and I love to say it all the time, how the sausage gets made, because when we were talking about the Sega Saturn core, the PlayStation SuperStation One core and the Nintendo 64 core when I was showing you the preview videos on Nintendo 64 of a black box going around Mario Kart at like 4 frames per second. Everyone was absolutely excited just to see that, and this is what happens when there's just some code not actually included in the core or chips completely missing. You might see something like this on real arcade hardware if one of the custom chips goes bad, and honestly it's one of those things. This could actually help for some of the research on when these boards actually do die. If you know what component is not included yet in the MiSTer FPGA core and your board is exhibiting the same issues, you would know what to look for in the future. But as far as Pooley Roulette is concerned, 100% not ready to play on the core, but it does boot. It is quite interesting, and when this core is finished, if you've never played the game before, I can't stress enough, it's an absolute trip, and I definitely think you should check it out. But I'm moving over to a game that seems to be like 95% buttoned up on the core. This is Final Blow, and it is a boxing game, not what your mother did last night, and it seems to be working relatively well. I'm going to give you a soundtrack sample that's basically just going to be the sound effects from the game, because it is speech and it is playing as a sound effect, so it'll be interesting to hear. Now, I'm not saying Final Blow is one of the best games of all time. It definitely is decent, but it isn't one of the F2's better games. But it is one of the first games to come out on the board, which means that it has the standard hardware until Taito started playing around with putting different chips on the board to get different effects. So it makes sense that this is one of the first games to work near perfectly, because it is one of the least demanding boards as far as F2 is concerned. But here's the sound effect sample. Go ahead and listen for 35 seconds and I'll be right back with more games.
That's it. Go get him. That's it. Break. Gomez. Jab. Gomez. Right. Up. That's it. Go get him. That's it.
I mean, it sounds good to me, but there's some sort of squeaking going on, almost like someone's stepping on a little field mouse as the punches are thrown. So it's not perfect, but it is getting there. And honestly, I'm sure somewhere in Final Blow there is a good game, but every time I play it, I struggle to actually get any good at the game and lose in the first round. So if you played this before and you have some feedback, leave me a comment down below, because I would be curious. I'm kind of assuming most people probably don't play this game whatsoever. It's one of those titles that does exist. It is part of arcade history, but it's not something that anyone's going to be talking about anytime soon. But it is the first game that I have talked to other people, and you can play apparently to the credits if you are good at the game. So it's the first game that's completable on the alpha core, but of course once the core is finished, it's not going to be one of those games that many people go to and play all that often. But as a case study of how the core is shaping up, it is great. But I am going to give you a soundtrack sample of Dino Rex. Now, it might be a terribly flawed game, but it also has an incredible soundtrack, so go ahead and listen for 35 seconds, but come back as I still got more. I mean, Dino Rex might not be a good game, but it's got a great soundtrack, and honestly, once this core is done, have your friends over, turn on MiSTer FPGA, have a couple too many drinks until the point in time where you're seeing double, and put on Dino Rex and do a 2-player match. It's going to be absolutely hilarious. It's going to be absolutely fun. You're going to be wondering to yourself, why in the hell is there just a bouncing egg in the middle of the playfield, and what does that do? Because when I say Dino Rex has absolutely no sense to it whatsoever, I 100% mean it. This game is just wild in all the worst ways, but it's one of those games you're never going to forget about playing it. But as far as the games that currently work, at least for a bit, Liquid Kids is definitely 100% the best game of the lot. But all of the best Taito F2 games still aren't quite running yet. The Growls of the World, the Pooley Roulette, all of those games, they will start working soon. I'll definitely keep updating this as it goes along, but leave me a comment down below and tell me, of the 3 games in this video that are actually running, which one do you remember seeing in arcades? I only ever remember seeing Liquid Kids. Dino Rex and Final Blow are titles I never actually saw arcade cabinets for. Some of those things, maybe they just weren't popular in the US, or maybe Vermont just didn't get them because I didn't exactly grow up in a big state. But short of that, next time this updates, I will run another preview video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. And again, if you want to test it, it's on the Discord. Bye bye.